Alright guys, so I was finally able to get the last copy for this AGL Final Form cooler right here. This guy could low-key be pretty interesting on a couple of teams. I'm sure he will help some units be able to get their best possible attack stat, because he is such a good support unit. He could be very useful on the Most Malevolent Clan team, on that movie boss team. This cooler has a variety of uses. I would say he's probably, technically he's a free-to-play unit. He's probably one of the better free-to-play units in the game. I don't know if I'd call him one of the best, maybe, but, there's definitely a big gap between this guy and, like, the coat, Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta EZAs. But this cooler, he's no slouch, even though he's got, like, the free-to-play potential system. Once I got the last copy of him, I definitely wanted to go ahead and rainbow him, because I do really like what they did with his cards. So let's go ahead and hop into an event, and we'll test out how good this cooler can be. Alright guys, so finally I am gonna get around and doing this right here. The rainbow video for AGL Final Form Cooler. I've used him a number of times throughout the year from when I first rainbowed him, but I haven't actually gone through and done like the full video kind of showcasing what he's capable of, right? I believe the part where I actually rainbowed this cooler was during the 4-year anniversary last year on February 3rd is when I rainbowed him, the first part of this video. Now I'm recording this on January 22nd of 2020. So it's been, almost a full year since we've had this cooler rainbowed. He is very, very good. Obviously, some better free-to-play units have come out since this guy originally came out. Because, at the start of the video, I'm talking about, oh, he's one of the better free-to-play units. I mean, he still is really good. But, there are better units, obviously. So there's a lot of different ways we could use this cooler. Number one, he gives AGL types 40% attack and defense, which is a ridiculous buff, right? So if you're going to put this guy on some of his various category teams, I believe he was added to 2 category teams since I rainbowed him, the Conquest of Terror, led by Cooler, and then the Target Goku team, led by Android 13. This guy giving the 40% attack and defense to AGL types makes any AGL types obviously hit stupidly strong, right? Also, he does get 5% attack with every attack he performs, so, up to 50%. So he has to attack 10 times before he's really able to get a super high, and before he's able to build up his full power. So there is at 800,000. Remember that STR cooler is giving a 50% attack buff right now, because there's 2 enemies, so he's giving the Conquest of Terror support type ability. Plus he does, AGL cooler does have big bad bosses, so there's a lot of different ways to sort of get a huge amount of damage out of him. And then again, provided we are, having a bunch of AGL units around also, Cooler's going to be able to put really, really big time damage up. And, he has a lot of the links that you're going to want, right? He's got Nightmare, he's got big bad bosses, Metamorphosis, Thirst for Conquest, strongest clan in space, which is good for any, Cooler movie unit or like any like Frieza family unit or anything like that, right? He just has a lot of the links that you are looking for to get, some really nice attack power. I feel like his defense is probably going to be solid as well. I mean, depending upon who he's linked up with, right? Because he is giving him 40% defense from his passive, plus potentially you could have big bad bosses as well. 25% attack and defense obviously is really good. And then, like, we have like STR Cooler right here, which is going to give us some extra attack also. I think for the sake of this, I'm going to keep STR Cooler non-transformed, because I think that's going to be a little bit better for us in terms of big bad bosses. So he's at 54k right there prior to big bad bosses. If we got that active, I think he'd be maybe at like 75k plus, so would be interesting. Okay, and then we do have Turles on rotation as well. Turles, of course, giving the 40% attack buff. We know how good Turles is. I should mention, by the way, that we are on the movie boss / full power team, too. So there he is, just under 1 million. So if he got a super attack, he would be above 1 million. So there's a second attack, get a third attack, and then chances are good that we'll get another attack. We did, but that was him potential system 1 right there, and it wasn't a super. His additionals cannot be super attacks, by the way. So it's like Evolution Blue Vegeta, in that the 2 additionals from his passive, they're always going to be normal attacks. But, if you can get crits on those normal attacks, they will be able to do very decent damage. And I've talked about this many times with these units that have guaranteed normal attacks, like LRK and Khalifa's one, Evolution Blue Vegeta. You get a crit on these normal attacks, and they will do very good damage. So, that is something to really, really keep in mind. Okay. We'll probably just go ahead and blow away this phase right here of Gohan and Goten. We'll get one more turn with Cooler, and then after that, we're probably going to go over to the STR Cooler team, and, I'm going to let him, like, fully build up. We'll try to see him in some situations, maybe with, like, big bad bosses and stuff like that. Maybe a rotation of AGL Cooler with, double Coolers. Certain things like that I think could be really good. One thing that obviously would help this AGL Cooler a lot is if he had Fierce Battle instead of Shattering the Limit, because most of the very good Wicked Bloodline category units you're probably going to be using this Cooler with, they do actually have Fierce Battle, right? So, again, that's sort of going to hurt this AGL Cooler a little bit. Not too much, but it's just something that, will give him a little bit less damage. But he is free to play, right? Like, considering he's giving 40% attack and defense to AGL types, and then he's also able to get, like, above a 1 million attack stat without even having big bad bosses active, like, he's really good. They've done a really good job with turning, like, these World Tournament units into, like, real, like, hardcore hitters. Okay, so we'll do this right here. We probably have a really good chance, actually, of knocking out big bad bosses right here. If like LR, Gohan, and Goten would want a super attack or something like that. Yeah, I think we would need a super attack from them. Oh, and they don't even... I think they might not even be able to super attack until the countdown wears off. Okay, well, there he was, over 1 million. There's a crit right there. Give us some crit normals. Yes? Yeah, there we go. Well, I mean, the damage isn't great there. Another turn where we got 4 attacks. So, like, that AGL Cooler right there, a unit like that, Physical Final Form Cooler, that AGL Cooler, as of right now, equipment has not yet been released, but, that's the type of unit where you can give him extra crits, and I think that's going to make him a lot better. These units that do 1 million extra attacks already, like, Tech Vegito Blue, this AGL Cooler, they're going to be doing very, very good things once you're able to give them that extra equipment, I think. So that's going to be very interesting to see as well. Alright guys, so now we're in the Legendary Goku event, and I kind of want to just give some time to Cooler, let him go ahead and build up that big attack stat, right? We got STR Cooler around. This whole team is really good for what we want to do with AGL Final Form Cooler. I even brought, like, LR Baby, who... LR Baby is one of these units, by the way. So I've talked about this recently, about, so there's units who come out, and I'm, like, praising them, like, oh, they're so good. Like, again, Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, to me, is the big one that stands out in my mind, where when he first came out, I was like, yo, I love Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. They did a really good job. And now here I'm a year later, and I'm like, nah, Gotenks, see ya. I'm ready for that new Gotenks. And then there's other units, like Baby, who I think, Baby is like, oh, yeah, Baby's good, but, as... I wasn't really, like, super, like, going crazy about Baby when he first came out, but as time has gone on, I do really like LR Baby. Like, his presence on some of these, villain, like, centric category teams is pretty good. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and transform with this Cooler right here. We'll probably just leave him on rotation, just to see a little bit of fun from the strongest Cooler in the game, and, like, I mean, really... They gotta keep Dokkan Fest exclusives coming at this level right here. Like, Android 13 is okay, but really, like, they should have made Android 13 as good as Cooler. Like, let's be real here. They really should have done that. That would have helped a unit that no one gave 2 shits about, because Cooler is actually, like, semi-popular, and Android 13 is not, right? So, obviously... I think it would have benefited a little bit more had they made Android 13 a little bit more like Cooler. Cooler could have been a little bit worse, and people still would really like him, right? I mean, he does still... I would say right now, Cooler has the best animations in the game. Of course, keep in mind, I am recording this prior to all the 5th year anniversary unit reveals, right? So, like, right now, it was sort of soft confirmed that it's Blue Vegito and Blue Gogeta, but we have not seen any details of them, card art, super attacks, nothing like that. So, I would not be shocked if those units actually have the best animations in the game. Like, personally, I'm expecting Gogeta Blue and Vegito Blue to have the best animations in the game, and I'm expecting them to have the best units in the game as well. I will be stunned if they are not better than LR Kill and Caulifla, because every single anniversary, the best unit in the game at the time has released. STR Gogeta, common thoughts at the time was that Super Saiyan 4 Goku was the best unit in the game. Then, of course, LR Vegito, everyone thought he was the best unit in the game. LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, me and many others thought he was #1. I know a lot of the numbers guys, I believe, were still liking LR Goku and Frieza, but like, I thought LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku was the best unit in the game until Kale and Caulifla came out, actually. And then, after, obviously, LR, Gohan, and Goten, they came out a little while after, too. Okay, so this is good right here. We're going to have Big Bad Bosses next turn. I don't think... Yeah, we're going to have Big Bad Bosses active next turn, but I don't think AGL Cooler has gotten his full attack buff yet. We have not gotten him enough attacks to be able to build up his full 50% attack buff, right? But, you know, with Big Bad Bosses, with all this support around, you know, he is still going to look pretty damn good. Of course, I do have the 50% Rildo on the team as well. Like, these 50% units, man, are just so impactful. Like, you know, the Rildo, you know, the Hit, you know, units like that are pretty solid on some of these category teams, just to give a little bit of an extra buff to some of these units. You know, because they orb change, it makes, like, using the teams and functioning with the teams a little bit easier as well. So obviously I am a big fan of that, right? So, okay, so we could probably put, I'll do this, which I think will knock us out of Big Bad Bosses, but I do think Rildo will probably take enough damage to where we can activate Big Bad Bosses again, right? I'll go ahead and do this, and let's see. Let's go ahead and see what kind of damage AGL Cool. Oh, 45k. That's a lot more than I was expecting, actually. Should have gave Rildo a little bit more orbs. Are we dead here? We might be. Yeah. Okay. That was... That's okay. We'll come back. I'm going to come back after AGL Cooler has built up his full passive anyway. All right, so here we go. I believe during our attack with Cooler here, we are going to actually build up to his full attack passive. So if we manage to get a additional super with Cooler at the end here, that would be him with his full passive. So we'll probably see this rotation right here. Then next turn, we have Physical Kid Buu we'll have on rotation, which will be good. All right, so this is going to be Big Bad Bosses, too. This will be really nice. Yeah, and then next turn will be the last one. We have Cooler's full passive. Well, you know, hopefully we'll have Big Bad Bosses. Hopefully we get, you know, Kid Buu with the 50%. 1.53, again, with the 40% attack and defense he gives, that's not bad. Like, that's pretty good. You know, this Cooler, again, you get crits with those normals right there, and he's putting up a very, very decent number. I do like this AGL Cooler quite a bit. I think they did a really good job with him, and I think he has aged well. Like, you know, these are the types of units that you really can run in, like, a strong category team like this, and you're going to be completely fine, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pop an Princess Snake right here, just to make sure that we have sort of, like, full health. We're not going to have to worry about any shenanigans or anything like that, right? So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll let Baby do this, and then next turn, we're going to have Rildo, Kid Buu, and then we also have our boy Cooler, and then we'll probably make that the last turn again. So let me know what you guys think of this AGL Final Form Cooler. I finally am getting around to a bunch of these, like, sort of random rainbows. Like, I have, like, 40 units rainbowed in my box right now that I haven't actually done videos for. That, like, right now, you know, this kind of, like, pre-anniversary, like, lead-up, I guess this is a good time for me to knock out a lot of those rainbow units for, like, you know, again, these characters that I haven't really used much and stuff like that. But, you know, Anniversary, of course, is going to bring tons and tons of content. Ticket summons, all types of free-to-play units, all types of craziness. We know how the anniversaries usually go, but hopefully we'll have tons of content. Okay, so we'll let Kid Buu go right there. Hopefully we'll activate Big Bad Bosses. If not, it's okay, it's alright. But, you know, I would like Big Bad Bosses to get active right here. If Goku super attacks, we should see it. But if he doesn't super attack, obviously we're not going to get... Okay, so no Big Bad Bosses, that's okay. And Cooler's up to 1.47 right there. That, of course, is with his full passive active and no Big Bad Bosses. So that's like the type of numbers that this AGL Final Form Cooler is capable of hitting. Really good considering all the additional normals as well. So again, you get crits with those, and he'll be able to rack up quite a bit of decent damage. And then, you know, depending upon the team you're running, what other AGL units you have next to Cooler, he's giving them 40% attack and defense. He is going to be a very, very impactful unit. Alright guys, so this is Wrestle It Execution Cooler Final Form. His leader skill is STR type enemies attack and defense minus 40%, so you maybe could do a meme run with him on Super Battle Road or something like that. His super attack is the Supernova, which does supreme damage and greatly lowers defense. His passive skill, Total Invasion, is AGL type attack and defense plus 40%. Then he has a high chance to launch 2 additional attacks, and then he gets 5% attack with each attack performed up to a max of 50%. Now, again, you know, this attack raising mechanic of his, you know, it's it works really well. I like units that are built like this. Like, again, this is one of those units, I think Int Ribrianne is a unit that if she was a Dokkan Fest exclusive built the way she is, she'd be one of the best units in the game. And I think this AGL Cooler, kind of the same thing. Like, you know, I don't know. Let's pretend Cooler is like a pure Saiyan. Like, let's just say he's like a Dokkan Fest Super Saiyan Bardock, right? And then he's pure Saiyan attack and defense 40%. Then, like, you know, the high chance to launch 2 additionals. You know, maybe he has like 50% attack and defense at the start of turn, and then maybe he gets like 20% attack and defense up to a max of like 160 or something like that, you know, with every attack performed. Like, he'd be like one of the most busted units in the game. Like, so the way this AGL Cooler is built is very good. This is something I would like to see more units get, and these units nowadays that give support type passives but are also very strong themselves are just like the best units to run on some of these teams, because then the whole team just runs way more efficiently, right? That's why I like Easy A Rage Trunks, Int Metal Cooler, the 50% supports. You know, you rock those types of units and they really help glue the team together, and you're just able to move very, very quickly, right? So I like them a lot. Remember that the 2 additionals from Cooler's passive can't be supers, but, you know, I've said it 50 billion times. If you can get crits with those normals, they could still do some pretty decent damage. Cooler's links are Strongest Clan in Space, Thirst for Conquest, Cold Judgment, Nightmare, Big Bad Bosses, Metamorphosis, and Shattering the Limit. So he does have pretty good links, you know, that a lot of the, like, Frieza family kind of clan members do have, so that's good. His 12 key multiplier is 145%, which is really good for just, like, a free-to-play unit like this. Like, wow, that's actually really impressive. And then he is on a couple of different category teams here. He's on the Movie Boss team. I really wish the Movie Boss team was movie villains instead. I've talked about this recently, so we can get like Zangia, you know, maybe some of these other villain minions on here would help this category, I think, a little bit. It is still obviously super powerful, but it could have been even better. Like, look at how Movie Heroes is built, right? Then he's also over here on Transformation Boost, which, you know, pretty much like all the strongest Dokkan Fest exclusives get added there nowadays. He's also here, I believe this is a Wicked Bloodline team right here. Pretty good. Obviously, he works really well over there. Then he's also over here on the Conquest of Terror category team, which is what this is right there. A fine team that'll get a lot better once, like, Baby and Scouter Vegeta and stuff like that get Dokkan Fest, Lord Slug, you know, Majunior, all of those are characters that'll get Dokkan Fest. And then finally, he is on the Target Goku category team, which, again, there's a couple of characters I think there that could probably get some Dokkan Fest or something like that to make this team a little bit better. So, let me know what you guys think of this free-to-play AGL Final Form Cooler. Very solid indeed. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.